You are always being divinely led, despite your questionable decisions. And how do I know? Because I am where I am today, despite my questionable decisions, and maybe even because of them. No matter what, I do know for me and for you that no matter what you're going through, you're going to get through it. And if you look at it in the spirit of, I am being divinely led. No matter what choices you make, you're going to be okay. And what Napoleon Hill says out of his book, Think and Grow Rich, back in the 30s, when he wrote that, he says, no matter what happens, no matter how horrible something is, something good comes out of it. I'm reminded of how there is desolation in my life and in some parts of the world. And in that desolation, something new can grow. Now, the thing about being divinely led, it's so much easier when I can just accept everything as it is, where whatever decision I'm about to make, if I can just sit, be quiet, and feel into my heart and see if it's right for me. Now, I have an impulsive personality. I've pulled it back a lot lately, but in that impulsiveness, I have made questionable decisions, like opening up my own business when I had no background in finance or in business. That was questionable, but in that moment, in that period of time, it was the most fun I ever had. But because I get so distracted, I ignored my business. It fell apart and I was down on my knees again. And when I'm down on my knees, it's because there's nowhere else left to go. And out of nowhere, I am led to go to the Pentagon. And it's like, how does that happen? I don't know how it happens, but what I do know is despite my questionable decisions, despite my distractions, despite other people's decisions, I always feel loved and divinely held. And sometimes those moments are so difficult. Like when I sat with no money and not having any idea what I was going to do after I had my bank account wiped out by my ex-husband, after my bank account had been wiped out by an employee, after I lost my house and I had nowhere to go. No matter what, the biggest moments in my life are in those dips of life. And I can feel the presence and the power of the divine. I've said this story before, but it's one of my ever favorite stories. And it was my first taste of really understanding the divine. And I had been working so hard at talking to God all day long, every day, and say, hey, what's this? And what's going on? And how can I do this? And show me what I need to see. And I would just be constantly engaged in a conversation with God. And there was this moment where I was so bereft. I was so depressed. I was so hopeless, like many people might feel today. And I was reading the newspaper that day, and John F. Kennedy Jr. was killed in a plane accident, much like my father was. And I remember reading it on that June day back in 1997, and I wondered what happened to my father, who was killed in a similar plane accident. And I was so broke that I had to have a garage sale to pay for the electric bill. And that part of me, I just have to love, because it was where I was based on my questionable decisions and other people's decisions as well. And I was so sad, and I come across my father's obituary that day, and I'm like, whatever happened to the brick side of the family, of my family? And I go out to my mailbox when we used to have snail mail, and there is a letter from the brick side of the family. And I was never in so much awe as I was in that moment. Never had I felt that much love. But it wasn't anything from the external. It was realizing that the power of the divine, the power of God, my higher power, the intelligent love, that loving intelligence was telling me that love was so much more important than money. And it was a seminal moment in my life. I was being divinely led back to wholeness. And that's what I want to share with you today, is that no matter what you're going through, you are being led back to wholeness, whether it's a disease or a health condition or bankruptcy like I've experienced, or loss of a job like I've experienced. No matter what, you are being divinely led. And I know that from the depths of my heart. And I just want you to realize that. And how you can tell is that you're being divinely led to wholeness is because you're watching this video. And you were led to this to reinforce the idea that no matter what, you're going to be okay. No matter what, you're going to be okay. I promise, because I've been there and I've done that. Today I'm reading from Divinely Led by Language of Letting Go. And it quotes Alcoholics Anonymous, big book, and it says, "Send me the right thought, word, or action. Show me what my next step should be. In times of doubt and indecision, please send your inspiration and guidance." The good news of surrendering ourselves and our life to a power greater than ourselves is that we come into harmony with a grand plan, one greater than we can imagine. And we are promised divine guidance if we ask for it. What greater gifts could we receive than knowing our thoughts, words, and actions are being directed? We aren't a mistake, and we don't have to control or repress ourselves or others for life to work out. And even the strange, the unplanned, the painful, and those things we call errors can evolve into harmony. We will be guided into understanding what we need to do to take care of ourselves. We will begin to trust our instincts, our feelings, our thoughts. We will know when to go, to stop, to wait. We will learn a great truth. The plan will happen in spite of us, not because of us. And I pray today and each day that my thoughts, words, and actions may be divinely led. I pray that I can move forward in confidence, knowing my steps are guided. Now, I'm going to tell you my path has not been an easy one, as I've just shared a few stories. And your path probably hasn't been either. And you probably question yourself all the time like I have. And you look at your unworthiness and like, what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen. But what I will tell you are a couple of things that really helped me. I've been in a lot of situations with a lot of people where I don't like it, where it just doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, that's my clue. It's time to move on. It's time to remove myself from a situation if it doesn't resonate with me. If it's against my values, when I go against my values and I keep doing it, when I say yes, when I mean no, it means it's time for me to move and remove myself. I know what things aren't like, what doesn't work for me. I am really clear on that. And then when I can get to the point where you can get to the point of where you are and you're like, what do I do next? Feel into it. Is it aligned with your values? Is it going to be really risky? Your body will tell you. Your intuition will tell you. And just feel into it. And when you can feel into it and it's a no, that's when you know you're being divinely led. If you ignore it, you're still being divinely led. I mean, God got me here to where He wanted me to be. And I am so grateful to where I am available. And for you, I was divinely led to do these videos a year ago when my life was falling apart yet again because something new was supposed to grow. And I get to reach you and talk to you through my life experiences and through the spiritual experiences that I've had, so that you know that you're going to be okay. I know that in the depths of my heart. And if you like this, please subscribe. There's no cost to it. And I would love it if you put in a comment below if this resonated with you. And I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And help the algorithm by liking this so that other people can hear this message. You are divinely held. I love you.